After repelling the Drifter forces from Zarzak, the Deathless name has started to echo throughout New Eden. He has seen an opportunity with the new Upwell Skyhook technology to seed his influence on planets, to introduce a conduit for the nefarious. The key things that our team are trying to achieve with this expansion is increase conflict drivers in Nullsec, add more value to Nullsec, and further the Deathless storyline. The Mercenary Den. This is a new structure that latches onto skyhooks around temperate planets, utilising the workforce of the planet and generating a new resource that the Deathless has his sights on. In return for aiding his efforts, Capsuleers can be rewarded with new clandestine ambush hunter ships, featuring powerful boarding weapons. This boarding weapon will wreak havoc on internals of ships affecting shields, armour and hull.
On 999, that is the 9th of September and 9 years since the Drifters first appeared, they launched a surprise attack on Zarzak, specifically laying siege on the systems surrounding it. In response, the Fulcrum, not the Deathless himself, locked down the gates with an emanation lock. This was less of a direct denial of access, because the Drifters use wormholes, and more of a secondary consequence of locking down Zarzak. The siege failed. Pilots came out in huge numbers and destroyed the siege engines and the Drifter officers again and again and again, meaning that the Drifters had been locked out of Zarzak, at least for now. Now that the shrouded structure has been partially revealed, the Deathless have set up a research station right next to it and has made a request to all citizens of New Eden to bring him Adavam, ancient tech that can be found in relic sites. In exchange, he'll be giving ISK and other goodies. The new structure is rumored to have been the Drifters' target. Since the failed siege and the partial reveal, the Deathless have been intensely trying to reveal its secrets, along with the help of Adavam and the Fulcrum itself. Realizing that he can't do this alone and wanting to spread his philosophy, the Deathless has released a mercenary den structure to help those wishing to escape Upwell and the Empire's corruption and bureaucracies.
Mercenary dens are a new addition to Nullsec, a structure that acts as an add-on to the Skyhook. This structure can be deployed by anyone with the skills to do so. This means you don't need to be the owner of the Skyhook or the system to deploy one. They work by latching onto the side of Skyhooks and utilising the workforce of the planet to generate infomorphs. These infomorphs are needed by the Deathless and can be traded at item traders for new Deathless ships, weapons and ammo. With the introduction of the Mercenary Dens, Capsuleers have a new mechanic to contend with: anarchy and development. Development serves to increase the output of the den. The higher the development is, the more infomorphs are generated to be collected by the owner. Anarchy, however, has a negative trait. As it increases, the mercenary den will start to have an effect on the workforce that the planet can produce. Without any interaction with the mercenary den, both anarchy and development will continue to rise over time. If you don't want the mercenary den to impact your workforce, you'll need to complete tactical operations for the mercenary den to bring the anarchy in line. Each tactical operation you complete will serve to decrease the amount of anarchy in the mercenary den. Additionally, completing tactical operations will also increase the amount of development in the mercenary den, further increasing infomorph production. The way I see it, there are 3 paths for using the mercenary den. First, a system owner can deploy the mercenary den to generate infomorphs, creating content for themselves, keeping the anarchy down to avoid any impact on the system's workforce output. Second, a raider can deploy a mercenary den on an unsuspecting Skyhook, complete the tactical operations to keep the anarchy down in an attempt to avoid detection and generate infomorphs. Third, an attacker can deploy mercenary dens on an enemy Skyhook, allow the anarchy within the Skyhook to rise and disrupt the workforce output of the system, creating a new way to engage enemy sovereignty. In all 3 cases, we're creating content and conflict drivers for the players in Nullsec, both the residents and invaders.
The mercenary dens will produce infomorphs, which the player can then retrieve, trade in those infomorphs at Zarzak for ship weapons and blueprints. For the Revenant expansion, we're introducing Deathless faction ships, the Tholos destroyer and the Cenotaph battlecruiser. They can sneak up on their prey using a covert ops cloak before releasing their signature weapon, specialized boarding pods, which they can launch towards a target, which penetrate the enemy ship and begin to deal damage to it from the inside. Deathless faction ships have a terrifying brawling kit. They have a special damage over time weapon, a covert ops cloak, and a web resistance bonus that allows them to get in close and deal a massive amount of damage from in close range. The Deathless Breacher pods do not stack. If multiple are applied to a target, only the highest deals damage. Deathless Breacher pods are not affected by the resistances of their target because they're dealing damage from the inside of the ship. The damage is dealt from the outside in, however, first damaging shields, then armor, and then hull. The Deathless ships have been balanced to have incredibly high strengths with very clear weaknesses. They have a lot of damage, but they operate best when in close range due to the lack of range bonuses on the ship. If you get a chance to shoot at these, pull range and try to shoot them from a distance, because that's probably where they'll be weaker. The Deathless ships have an incredibly high damage potential, possibly higher than most other ships of their size. Mixed weapon types make these, however, more difficult to operate at maximum efficiency, requiring more player skill to use well. They also have a web resistance bonus, which gives it more tactical flexibility in brawl range. While it's slower than Angel ships by base speed, under web it can actually be faster due to this bonus. Deathless ships have a lot of mid slots and few low slots. This gives them a lot of tactical flexibility and space for shield modules, while also limiting just how much damage they can deal at the top end. Active shielding bonuses reinforce its identity as a shield-tanking ship, while also reinforcing its role as more of a solo, small-gang ship. Passive bonuses tend to scale best with larger fleets, whereas active bonuses tend to scale best in solo and small-gang content. The damage over time breacher pod weapon doesn't stack, so they're less effective en masse, but they're still valuable in fleets to apply their damage to many targets, if they can get in range, and cause chaos for the enemy logistic ships. The thing I think will surprise players the most is the lingering damage over time effect. The damage over time effect will catch people off guard. Even when they think they've won a fight, the Deathless ship might still take them down from beyond the grave, as the effect keeps on ticking whether or not that ship is present. I think what people will enjoy the most with Deathless ships is that they will make for terrifying ambushes, particularly due to their covert ops cloaks. Deathless ships will be popular in wormholes due to their strength at close engagement ranges. They'll also probably be brought along with Black Ops fleets because they can join due to their covert ops cloak bonus. They may be seen with large fleets, particularly to put pressure on logistics by making multiple targets need tending. As a pirate faction, they will not be allowed in faction warfare navy complexes. However, I expect they'll make a terrifyingly strong showing in advanced complexes and insurgency sites. We'll be carefully monitoring their performance in both of these after release.
The new Deathless ships were created to host and use the new breacher pod and paired cloning technology. As no other ships were capable of using this technology, the Deathless wants to share it with the rest of New Eden as a sign of good faith.
For both the Mercenary Den and the Deathless ships, we're creating new opportunities for conflict and engagement for players. I think Mercenary Dens are going to add a new dynamic to nullsec, creating opportunities for stealthy disruption gameplay and also generate content, in addition to creating tactical operations for ISKs and rewards. Also, you're going to love the new Deathless ships. Short range, ambush hunters, they're going to be deadly on the battlefield, and I know that I'm looking forward to trying them out.